Hi, this is Lee Garrett and welcome to another edition of Screencast Online. Recently we published a deep dive screencast on Microsoft Word, running through some of the tips and tricks that I use daily or have recently discovered. And today we're going to continue this theme and look in some more depth at Microsoft Excel. Now Word is a really detailed application, but Excel is an absolute behemoth. There are so many features in there that could be covered. I'm not even going to try and address them all. Instead, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at showing you how to use some of the features that I myself have found myself Googling over the last year because I didn't have a clue. So we'll kick off by taking a look at pivot tables, why you need to use them and how. Then I'm going to move into some lookup formulas, which is how to select data from a predefined list of options, before throwing in some quick fire tips and tricks that I've picked up over time. Now, if enough of you like it, then please let us know and we'll schedule another. But for now, let's get started. Right, let's start off with pivot tables. So what are they, first of all? Well, a pivot table takes data from a larger table and puts it in a more readable format for you. And it's also able to change how the data appears. So rather than just displaying sum totals, it can show you averages, maximum values, total counts. They can move in any way that you like, really, hence the name. They pivot to your own requirements. Now, what I'm going to do here is show you a real-world example of how I use pivot tables for one of my program management clients. And this should show you the premise quite nicely. Now, I manage a program of projects, and each month I need to ensure that I bill the customer for the resources that have been deployed. Pretty simple, really. However, there are always questions that come back about how much a particular resource has cost and how much was billed for a given project. Now, by creating a pivot table, I can answer those questions. So here is a sheet that I would use that contains the basic information that I need, all of the source data. I have the date, I've got the project name, the type of resource it is, the resource name. There's a daily billable rate, how many days were complete for that particular week, and the total that line item needs to be billed for. Now this is for the whole of March, so as I scroll down, we can see that there are a lot of entries here, and I do not want to be calculating things here manually, really, whenever there is a question that comes up. I'm good, but I'm also very lazy, which gives me time to be good. Now, I could give the customer the total amount by clicking at the column heading that contains the billable amounts. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, there are some figures that show the sum total, the average, and the item count. Now, that sum total is good, but I want to manipulate the view of data, so let's create our pivot table. I'm going to click on the first cell of this sheet that contains data. I'm going to go to Insert and select Pivot Table. Now, because I've highlighted that cell, Excel has already estimated the table that I would like to use for the source data. The sheet name is there, and it's from A1 to G77. There is also a green dotted line around the selection in the background. If I hadn't selected that cell, let's just cancel this and pick any other cell here on the sheet. Now I'll go back to click on pivot table and we can see that that value is blank. So it's just a quick way of getting that value pre-filled for you. Okay, let's cancel this. I'll select cell A2 again and click on pivot table. Okay, with the range selected, we need to decide where the pivot table is going to be placed. Now it can go on a new worksheet or an existing one, and you would specify the location on an existing sheet here. Just navigate to it and click. I'm going to let this create a brand new sheet and I'll click OK. And the new sheet is created and our pivot table is there. It's completely blank though at this point. We need to configure exactly what's going to appear in it. So before I do this, for completeness, I'm just going to rename this sheet. So I'm going to come down and right click. I'll select rename and I'll call it billing summary. There we are. Now, what do we have in front of us? So we have a blank pivot table highlighted here. And in our sidebar, we have the pivot table configuration area. And this is where we decide what data is going to go in.
That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencast Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit screencastsonline.com today and become a Screencast Online member.